the Poseidon. Once, a cooking competition took place within its walls. Today, however, a very different kind of competition will occur.
I have brought you two here to face a great challenge.
I've got nerves of steel and muscles of sand.
And eyes of jelly.
My Poseidon has been breached by a mighty foe whom you must vanquish.
Bring it on, Your Highness! Bring it on!
In this corner, defending the Poseidon, a small square guy. And his challenger, a huge murderous robot shaped like a squirrel.
Look, it's a giraffe.
I think I need to get home to feed Gary.
The first major boss of the game is Robot Sandy, and I'm gonna level with you right now. All of the major bosses in this game have got problems in this remake. They've got serious problems. You've already seen one. In the original, when you smack Sandy, the Robot Sandy, if the head hit the thing in the top, it would break through it. You'd smash it, and now it doesn't smash, which is just like, oh, okay. All of the boss fights feel like they were the last thing made, and so their coding is loose, to put it nicely. And I'm 99% certain most of the patches this game's going to get is going to be on the boss fights. But the first fight against Robot Sandy, you're waiting for it to slam down, because then it will expose itself enough for you to slam on the ground yourself, which will disorientate it. When it slams down on the ground, if you slam yourself and disorientate it, you'll be able to hurt it in various ways. When I was a kid, I thought he said spelling the old clothesline, but he doesn't, he says clothes line. But with Patrick's part, you just, once you slam it, you're throwing the head into this, the announcing box. Sandy actually moves a lot faster in this than she did in the original, so that's at least a plus. You can get through this fight a lot quicker than the original. But the robot also seems a lot smaller than in the original, which is something I will actually criticize. Also, there's a weird delay between you slamming the ground and the game responding to it. And the announcer is a lot more repetitive of itself. Also, King Neptune and the announcer fish are not in around the stadium like they used to be. Well, I say that, yeah, no, neither of them are here. I just kind of glanced around, but their box that they should be at is. So there's always definitely going to be a patch reintroducing those two into the background, as we do with phase 2 and get down to the last phase. I don't like that the game has to tell you what to do. The original didn't, and we all worked it out just fine as kids. That's what I mean. Like, there's a lot of points where it feels like too heavily for as a kid. Dodging this attack sucks in the remake. Just got to level with you. I don't know what they did to it, but in the original, I never got hit by it. But in this, I keep getting hit by it. Next thing I have a problem with, Robot Sandy, the moment you press triangle to start the bash, it counts as a hit. Whilst in the original, you had to actually, you know, make contact with the head. Okay, yeah, I kind of got it that time at least. Which I just think is kind of bad, because you don't earn it. You don't earn it at all. The moment you press triangle under it, it just registers it and says, okay, you're good. Well, I don't think it should be like that. You should earn it and have to try and line it up and hit it. Be able to go where it's going and crack the edge and get it. Because the fight's going to end when we to triangle. We're not even going to hit the helmet. See, we didn't even hit it and now the boss is over. But we got our 27th golden spatula, and we finally got our first new ability, the sponge bowl, or the bubble bowl.
Tell him what he's won, Johnny. It's a new power, the bubble bowl. But wait, there's more. A golden spatula, and that's not all. A gift certificate for $5.32 to Dean's Little Shop of Dried Fish Flakes and Flowers.
Oh, thank you. It all means so much. I promised myself I wouldn't cry.
Cry all you want, but not here. We just wax the floors.
Hey, Plankton,
Yes, what is it?
I was just wondering why all the robots seem to be coming from inside the chum bucket.
Have they? I really haven't noticed.
Yeah. And then there's that big flashing neon sign that says Robot Headquarters.
SpongeBob, I'm your friend, right?
No, not really.
Exactly, and as your non-friend, I worry about you. Like right now, you're thinking too much. I'm worried you might really hurt yourself. Tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna think for you. This way you won't hurt yourself, and you can just keep working on getting me into the chum bucket.
Thanks, Plankton. You're the best non-friend a friend could have. No more thinking for me.
I feel that is something that I need to specify. Like, as I absolutely love this game, but if you've been with this channel long enough, you'll know the games I love the most are the games I criticize the most. Constructive criticism is the healthiest thing in the industry, and ignoring a game's problems just because you like it is only hurting it and not helping it. So when I'm sitting here and criticizing the fact that the major boss fights are all feel unfinished, I'm doing it because I'm out of a place of love, because I want to see it grow and develop. But it is what it is. They've made this sock far higher in this compared to the original. Like, in the original, you could just jump over the whole fountain, whilst in this, it's like, no, you got to jump on the top, then jump up. It's like, okay, sure. But, we got a new technique, the bubble bowl. If you hold down circle, you'll rev it up. The longer you hold it down, the more ferociousness there will be in the throw. There's a weird sound cue glitch in the game as well for it, because, you know, this game's glitchy as hell. But there's a golden underwear on the top of the police station, so you might as well nab that now to get it. So you now have 5 units of health instead of 4. But doing this basic platforming to get over here as well, you can get on top of the Shady Shoals retirement home to get the golden spatula waiting for you up here. There's one more golden spatula we can get right now. Now we've got access to more Bikini Bottom. And another sock, but the sock can wait because we'll be going there later on anyway. That spatula is here. In the tree dome, there's robots around the place.
I got a treehouse chock full of robots and it's all your fault, so get in there and clean up your mess.
Oh, right. Everyone's still convinced that it's SpongeBob's fault. Well, Sponge and Patrick's fault for the robots existing. It's just because of one-off comment he made to Squidward. Even though it absolutely isn't his fault. Yeah. Anyway, this little... As I'm nearly dead. Fuck, I should probably actually concentrate a little bit more. This little arena isn't too bad. The only thing to be wary of is that there's bomb bots in here. And if you're playing the original, he's like, okay, what's the threat? The bomb bots aren't terrifying at all. They've made the bomb bots ridiculous in the remake. I kinda love them. They are so much more aggressive and fast and on your case in the remake compared to the original. Also, Patrick's here in reference to like one of the very first episodes of the show. Which is kind of like, I'm expecting him to do Pinky Out. Anyway, back outside. I suppose we could go to rock bottom now, because I don't think there's anything else on my head. Other than getting the sock in Shady Shoals, but we'll be getting that later on, because we'll be going into Shady Shoals a little later on anyway.
Victory.
Yeah, just going to move on. As we go into Rock Bottom.
Welcome to the dark depths of Rock Bottom, home of strange creatures and souvenir t-shirts.
Oh, SpongeBob, I'm actually glad you're here. Believe it or not.
I'm glad I'm here too, Mrs. Puff.
The robots have stolen priceless artwork from the museum. If you can return it all to me, I'll reward you with a golden spatula.
Why do you want all that artwork?
Don't ask questions you aren't prepared to handle the answer to.
Consider the artwork saved, Mrs. Puff.
Hey look, it's another collectathon-based objective given to us by Mrs. Puff. She seems to have a tendency to do that. Anyway, here's the Sleepy Time robots. If you sneak up on them, you can get into their vicinity. If you move normally when you're within that searchlight, the thing will laser beam you, and the laser beam has knockback far stronger than you can get around. You will just get shot out of it until you leave. So don't try and push through and be cocky. You can go over the searchlight though, and you can throw things over the searchlight. So if you're playing as Patrick or Sandy, there is a way of dealing with them, especially now as Sandy, because you can lasso in the air. So if you can just get above them, you can use that to your advantage and just get them killed immediately.
You really get around.
The robots are plundering Rock Bottom's museum.
Rock Bottom is probably actually my favourite graphical overhaul in the game. What they've done to Rock Bottom I think is really cool.
I lick all these stamps.
Especially because in the original it was so dark. This and Kelp Forest were nightmares to get around if you like had a bad old TV. Like back when I was a kid, I finished the game not getting many of the spatulas here or in Kelp Forest. I just grinded for them elsewhere until I got enough. It was only much later on that I came back from it and I could actually, you know, see them better. You also can't bubble bowl the sleepy time robots. If you try for a bubble, they'll just laser it away unless they've got their back to you. They can only laser if they're in front of you, sort of thing. Oh, make sure to whack this button over here, otherwise you'll get right to the very end of the section later on and not be able to do anything. You'll be like, oh, you just waste your time. But you're pushing around the block here because there's a bunch of little buttons around that will put lasso points around the map, so when we eventually go through it as Sandy, we can get around. There's also a secret one here that will lead you to an optional golden spatula, which was like another golden spatula that I just missed for the longest time. These are the bomb bots there. The bomb bots, I need to say it, the bomb bots, they are a lot stronger than they were. They have been buffed a lot from the original. They are on your case super quick compared to how they were in the original game and blow up after a lot shorter a time span. I love how much they've been buffed. But they're also suicidal as all hell. It's hilarious. It's definitely, I can guarantee it. There's a sock down there, but we'll get it later on. I can guarantee you right now, it's hilarious. It will happen. It will definitely happen. It'll probably happen several times. Because they're so aggressive and so on your case, they will chase you off bottomless pits without a second thought. They will chase you to the ends of the earth to their death without hesitation, and it's never not funny in this game. I love the fact that they do that. Worth mentioning, if a sleepy time robot wakes up, they double their health. So when they're asleep, you can one-shot them, but if you wake them up, it will take 2 hits to kill them.
You've just met the Sponginator.
But now we've hit that last switch, it's lowered the gate so we can break this and get rid of the robots that have been floating around. There you go. Before you hop on the sponge bowl, keep running past it. Well, actually, you can take it, just don't hit the button because it's quicker. Because there's this platform over to the side here that has 2 collectibles and a lead-in for the third one. It has a painting, it has a sock, and it has a button here that will bring up that lasso, but doesn't make a cutscene for it. That's there for the golden spatula. I'm going to try and see if I can get the sock now as Spongebob, but I usually come back as Sandy. Can I jump on this? No, I can't. Oh well. Anyway, back where he was, I just cut until he was back here. Hitting the button will start the time limit, and this is where I actually stopped as a kid when I got here. This is when I left, because the physics of the ball weren't as good as they, well, aren't as, I'll say they're not good in this either, but they felt more manipulatable at a moment's notice in this. And in the original, you have to take it kind of slow because you will just go straight off the edge. And when you also keep in mind, it's a lot darker in the original, and I had like an old school TV screen at the time because it was what we could afford. I just couldn't see shit, would just fly off the edge and just never got into the museum. Like nowadays, that isn't a problem at all, and I've obviously beaten Battle for Bikini Bottom 100% a million times since then, so it's really not a hassle for me. But when my very first playthrough, I remember it so distinctly, I just didn't do it. It's the same as in the movie game. I never did the ring challenges. I was just really terrible at positioning with the ring challenges. I could do the normals and I could do the time trials, but ring challenges could just rot in hell. I say that, despite the fact that I've 100%ed this game like a million times, and I do really enjoy the movie game as well, I've never actually 100%ed the movie game. I get the 50 Goofy Goober tokens to unlock the final thing, and then I just finish the game, and then I just don't go back to it. And yeah, you need 75 of this game's collectible to get into the final level, but you only need 50 to get into the final level of the movie game. That's because there's only 68 challenges in the movie game, because it was a budget rushed title that just used the framework of Battle for Bikini Bottom to get itself through.
Do I really
But anyway, there's that sock that you can only get as Sandy. We're only supposed to be able to get as Sandy. Oh, it actually disconnected my lasso, but pulling this will allow you to get this spatula, which was up to 30, so we now actually have access to every level of Act 2 of the game, because theoretically, after the Poseidon, you've ended Act 1. At least that's how I've always considered it. But the 3 levels of Act 2 are Rock Bottom, the Murmur Lair, and Sand Mountain. Similar to Jellyfish Fields, the Murmur Lair doesn't actually have a spatula requirement to get into, but it is technically the 5th level, and this is the 4th, so we're doing this first. I say that because of the way they handle the map. If this is the first time you're playing it, you're not going to really know what the order of the levels is expected, and it will especially throw you off when you get to the 3rd act, because the last level of the game is the one that doesn't have a spatula requirement. So you might think that the Spongebob Dream level is the first one you'll do, and then wonder why you're not given an introduction cutscene to all the enemies.
Boy, are you on patrol down here?
The museum is another section that you should really do as Sandy, not SpongeBob. But the opening cutscene is for SpongeBob. And the reason why they do this is because there's sleeping robots here, and so you need to sneak up on them as SpongeBob in the original. But you can actually get around them entirely without having to deal with any of the sleepy times at all. So what I usually do, like, because I like seeing this cutscene and just chatting to Barnacle Boy,
That's where you exit the museum. Good luck.
is I will do the first section of SpongeBob, and where there used to be a bus stop in this museum, but there no longer is because it's another bus stop they just weirdly got rid of, I will from there backtrack, go get Sandy from outside the museum, because there is a bus stop just outside the entrance, then come back in as Sandy, because there's 2 socks and a painting here. Well, I say that, there's actually 3 socks, because there's 1 right under us, but there's 2 that only Sandy's going to realistically get. Assuming you're not cruise boosting in the original. Because there's 1 like right under there, like right under the starting platform, that you can kind of like fandangle your way into. That was unfortunate. I thought the electricity would have gone out by the time I jumped to it. There we go. But just trying to get that sock onto the starting platform's not really worth it right now. Like, so you can fandangle your way under there and get it, but the amount of punishment you'll be giving yourself trying to, because this isn't like a goo-based platform. The lasers are just hurtful obstacles. You will just take damage and it will just keep on hitting you the whole time you're bouncing off it until you die or you manage to escape. Well, the sound effect for the electricity stops before the platforms actually vanish. Small detail that the remake got wrong, but worth highlighting anyway. I'm genuinely looking forward to see how this game ends up, because they're so dedicated to trying to get patches out for this game, trying to get it the best place it can be, setting up a page so you can do bug reports for it and such. All of it gives me hope, a lot of hope, that the state this game is going to be in a year from now is going to be completely different from how it is today. I say this at the time of this recording, this is the 2nd day the game's been out. I did a whole 100% playthrough on day 1, and I'm doing a whole second 100% playthrough right now for YouTube that I'll probably be uploading on my usual 1 video a day process. So I say this, but this might even be like next week this part comes out, because it is like Wednesday that I'm recording this. These 3 buttons, hitting all of them will deactivate the lasers, but each time you hit one, it spawns a robot next to you, just casually. There's another painting there. And then there's 1 more as well in the station that is a lot easier to get as Sandy, but you can actually get the paintings here as Sponge. I think that's the only thing that kind of screws me up talking about this game. I've done it so many millions of times, I know where everything is on muscle memory, but I don't really think about it. So sometimes I'm like, yeah, there's 1 sock here, and I'll say it literally picking up a 2nd sock. Because in my books, so I don't think about it when I'm playing this game. Like, I don't know if any of you have ever had a game like that, where you've gone through it so many times, you know it so well, you don't actually think about it. You could be doing other stuff and still play it exactly to the level you need to.
Love opening presents.
That's exactly what happens here. Also, they've changed what's around the walls of the museum to like be either artwork that's references to the show, artwork that's references to memes in real life, or actual like 3D models just sitting on their own so you can observe them a little better through the museum screen. In the original, this is where I go get Sandy at the bus stop, but the bus stop doesn't exist here anymore. There used to be a bus stop like around here somewhere, so I'm instead going to backtrack, go back outside, go to the bus stop there, get Sandy, and then come back through. So there's some weird ass paintings they put in here. In the original Battle for Bikini Bottom, it was all like artwork of the game you'd find around the walls, which kind of made the 40,000 shinies theatre kind of worthless, but it is what it is. But you see what I mean, these sleepy times you can deal with ease now in the Rehydrated, because you can just attack from mid-air. And then just hop in here, and up here we go. I still love the fact that the lasso goes around the thing's eyes when you attack those robots. Oh, I was hoping I'd be able to hit you into the Thunder Tiki. Oh well, the Thunder that'll still kill you. Worth mentioning with those things is that in the original, there was a much more defined sound effect when you standed on them that alerted you to the fact that they would start lowering as you put your weight on them. That is now almost either it's very subtle or it just doesn't exist. But there's a secret sock hidden just kind of around the side over here, and that's your 40th sock if you've been following along. So now you're halfway. You've got exactly half of all the socks. There's a monsoon like doing thunderstorms around here as well, so be wary of that. It's the other reason. Also, that is an interesting reference to God that they just did there. But you can skip the rest of this obstacle as well by literally just flying around here, picking up the other sock that's supposed to be for Sandy, and it will take you to the very end. The moment you touch the very end, it makes these lasso points so you can theoretically get back to those other socks with ease, but we already got them, so they're worthless. Alternatively, it might be just so you can more easily deal with the monsoon, but still, why would you? Let's go into the trench. The moment you go in the trench, it will automatically default you back to Spongebob, and it does that for like most of Bikini Bottom. Outside of the museum, being the only real exception, they will just make you default to Spongebob every time you enter a new area. But we're in the trench of advanced darkness.
Darkness, huh? Sounds dark. Okay, Gary, I'll be extra careful.
And I like what they've done with the yellow coral to help make it a bit brighter around here as well, instead of it just being the weird street lights. There's another bus stop here, but you don't really need it right now. We'll swap to Sandy a little later on, but there's no rush. Fucking bombots. Oh, there it goes, there it goes. I told you the bombots are suicidal as all hell. He didn't give a fuck about me. He just turned around and went away. I told you, they're suicidal. The bombots are great. Because even though it is clearly just something's wrong with their AI, really badly wrong with their AI, I kinda love them. I kinda want them to just stay like that. There's these weird things that just randomly will decide, I've had enough, and just go off edges. The reason why I wanted to stick a Spongebob is because you need the Spongebob to get around to that gate in time, but you're also going to need Spongebob over here anyway, so you might as well just save yourself having to swap around and just keep him. Thankfully this will drop another bungee, but thankfully the reward once again is straight beneath you, so you can just get it and get up and get your sock. I think that's the first time you have to actually buy something just to get a sock. Usually if you have to spend shinies on something, it will ultimately lead to a spatula. But anyway, let's swap to Sandy. There's a gone spatula way off in the distance over there that you can see. There's a painting off to the side over here, which I'll clear the path for now, even though we'll be coming back here a little later on anyway, just to get the spatula. I like clearing it out now just because it's fun to do. Go on, get up there. Thank you. And then we're only one more painting down. Right, let's go over here, and you can see Plankton's waiting for us. Let's see what he has to say.
Let's not be stirring up no trouble.
Nonsense! I only want to help. I'll crush you all under my rise to power.
What was that?
Nothing. Say, see those
Oh yeah, this is the most plankton-themed objective. Hey, see those giant lasers around the place? Turn them on!
Turn on each one of those in order to cross the last part of the trench of advanced darkness.
This better not be some kind of trick, varmint.
Decided to cut down here in the central platform, which is what I'm going to refer to that platform anyway. There's the button that will allow you to get to that spatula. So when we get back to that, we'll be able to nab it. But there's 3 duplicatortrons that are shooting robots specifically to this middle platform, so it's going to get crowded quick. So just get a move on out of there to each of the 3 lasers. Hit the duplicatortron and get a move on. Oh, and hit the button to turn them on, I mean. Because the last painting is around here as well. Also, it doesn't have the original sound effect, which I think is kind of gutting. But in the original, it was a lot more of a defined, loud laser sound that they did, and now it's just kind of woo, 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 woo. Oh shit! I can recover this. That bombot's gonna kill itself. Oh, there he goes! There he goes! Told ya! He just kind of went off the edge on his own again. Yeah. This painting's been slightly moved from its original position. It used to be like round the corner of one of the buttons, so it could be easily missed. Which, you know, because it's something you're supposed to be looking out for and collecting, making it so it could be easily missed made sense to me, but whatever. But it's right there, now we have all 6 of them. Oh, I actually hit the central laser. They lowered the position of the central laser from this compared to the original. I guess to just make it so it's easier to keep in the center of the screen so you know how much of it you've done. But I've hit my head on it on both playthroughs when I didn't, like, at all in the original. There's the last one, which will activate the main box. And there just isn't an actual sound effect for the laser shooting, just a sound effect of the laser passing by the camera. But anyway, that opens our path to get out of this last section. Well, technically last section, because the next area we're going to is actually just a different part of the first section of the map. We've gone in a circle. In the same way that the last section of Goo Lagoon was actually just the first section, but from a different position. But this time it's a more defined than just hit a button and leave.
A little southern elbow grease can't handle.
And then we get our spatula. We can immediately go get the other one because we hit the button to get the lasso point to lower. And then we can start getting out of here. Also, to get out of here, I'll leave it up to your discretion how you want to get out. Like, because there's some of it that works well for getting out of Sandy, and some of it that works well for getting out of Spongebob. And there's no, like, concrete path to get through it in one person. You're supposed to go, like, about halfway, swap, and then do the other half. But I don't know. In both the original and this, it's always just felt a little bit wonky. I can't really put it into my... Okay, this robot's... The sleepy time robots are a bit glitched. If you go into their field once, you tend to stay there. But you see how that thing's just stayed awake, even though we left the field, so we left its spotlight, so it should have gone back to sleep. That's kind of what I mean. It's just a bit... The sleepy time bots need a patch as well. Oh, there they go. Fucking the bomb bots. Because at this section, you're supposed to kind of backtrack a little bit and go get Spongebob, because how Sandy's supposed to do this section in the original when she can't lasso in the air. I said now it doesn't matter because she can, so you can just burn your way through. But yeah, I don't know. It's just an odd one. But let's go get this spatula, which was the 35. We're only 5 away from getting the second boss, for goodness sake. That's how carried away you can end up getting in this. But once again, once you go through here, it immediately forces you back into Spongebob. Like, instead of coming through as Sandy, which is just weird, but whatever. And there's the start of the level. So if you touch this, it will activate the platform so you can get to and from here easier. But you actually need to go this way because there's a slide challenge to do. And that platform we were just on, it was actually been raised compared to the original because you could actually jump from the rooftop of the toilets that the first Sleepy Time bot was on, straight to it with a bit of positioning, and skip the entire level, and then from there do the whole level backwards.
Down the slide.
And doing the whole level backwards just made every spatula a joke, because you could just, well, you just spawn on them. So they raised that platform to get rid of that. The moment you hit the button, the timer just starts, when usually the timer doesn't start until you touch the slide associated with the button, which is kind of nuts. But down this slide there is a sock that you need to deter for as well, and you've also got that sock that I highlighted near the start of Rock Bottom that I said we'll be coming back for later, because it'll be right in front of us later on anyway, so we might as well just nab it then instead of just tanking a death to get it earlier. Like, we can be a bit patient. But there's our 36th spatula. If we turn around and go back through the box, we can go up and around. Because we've got... Also, you can hit the button again if you want to, which is pointless because what's the timer spawning? There isn't another spatula down there. But it'll still be like ticking away like there is. It's just alright, sure. Oh, hit a pole. But we're going down this way because there's a path that you could probably reach other ways, but I've always just found it's the easiest to get to through the slide. So if you just pay attention to your surroundings as you go around and then kind of detour over here, you can nab this sock. And there's only one more sock left to get, and then we just need to turn in the paintings to Mrs. Path and we're done with Rock Bottom. So let's nab this, jump down, and then if we follow this path to the end, it will lead us to the last sock. You can get out of it. Another Sleepy Time robot. Oh, that one had our back to us. I probably should have tried a bubble bowl. Oh well. There'll be more Sleepy Time bots a little later on that we can try it on maybe. But if you go to ride this up, it will take us back to where we actually looked down on the sock. So if you just wait until you're comfortably high enough, you can jump over and get it. And that's the last thing here. We just need to turn in the paintings. See, we're all done.
Last piece of artwork accounted for, Mrs. Puff. I left no strange glowing stone unturned.
Well,
Hey,
nice.
so let's go get our spatula and we're done. So that'll probably wrap up the video as well. So next time on SpongeBob SquarePants Battles of Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, we will be going into the Murmur, a level that's also pretty damn cool, even if it's another level that feels a little bit finicky in places in the Rehydrated version.
Maybe these
But until
robots
then,
aren't so bad after
you guys
all.
take care now.